On October 28, 2019, a 47-year-old Japanese man named Tetsu Shiohara live-streamed what he believed would be another successful climb of Mount Fuji. What viewers witnessed instead became one of the most tragic and controversial mountaineering incidents ever broadcast live. Tetsu wasn't new to Fuji. He had been climbing the mountain since 2017 and had already reached the summit multiple times. But there was one critical difference this time. All of his previous climbs took place during climbing season, which runs from July through mid-September. During those months, trails are maintained, weather conditions are more stable, and rest huts are open, offering food, shelter, and oxygen. This climb was different. By late October, Mount Fuji was deep into the off-season. The trails were buried under thick snow, winds were reported to reach nearly 60 miles per hour, and every hut on the mountain was closed. Despite these dangers, and despite it being his first off-season climb, Tetsu decided to attempt a full ascent and descent in a single day. During the livestream, Tetsu admitted he had forgotten critical gear. He didn't bring thicker socks to protect against the cold. He wasn't wearing crampons to prevent slipping on ice.
Socks. 靴下。あれ？靴下忘れた。いや違う。バス。何が？ちょっと待って。
He also revealed he had brought no food at all, explaining he wanted to keep his backpack light. As he continued upward, the snow grew deeper than expected. Entire sections of trail had collapsed due to weather damage. Around 2 hours into the hike, viewers watching the stream began to panic.
一般客だね。そうやね。でも山頂まで行けちゃうと思うよ。この。
The comments filled with warnings, begging him to turn back before it was too late. Against mounting danger and repeated warnings, Tetsu pressed on, driven by determination alone. Somehow, he managed to get dangerously close to the summit. But that's where everything ended. While navigating a steep, icy section of the mountain, Tetsu slipped. The livestream jolted violently as he fell.
外埋まってんだけど雪で。よし行こう。ここも危ないね。ちょっとね、斜面。滑る。
Seconds later, his phone struck a rock and shut off, cutting the stream abruptly. Viewers immediately contacted authorities. Because of the extreme conditions, rescue crews weren't able to reach the area for 2 days. When they finally located him, Tetsu's body was found 2,300 feet below the point where he slipped. The injuries were catastrophic. For most people, the case seemed clear. An underprepared climber underestimated Mount Fuji's off-season dangers. But some viewers who watched the livestream raised unsettling questions. One commenter later wrote that Tetsu appeared to make deliberate references to being unequipped, despite having ample time to turn back. Others noted that multiple people he encountered on the mountain warned him not to continue, and that he ignored them all. The missing equipment, they argue, may not have been accidental. There's no evidence to prove this theory, and we may never know Tetsu Shiohara's true intentions that day. Twitch streamer Shiori never expected her New Year's Day stream to turn into history. January 1st, 2024 was supposed to be quiet. Shiori, a small Twitch streamer living in Niigata with just over 2,000 followers, had only started streaming 2 months earlier. Her content was simple, relaxed, just chatting streams from her room. Nothing dramatic, nothing intense, but just 6 minutes into what should have been an ordinary holiday broadcast, her phone suddenly began buzzing. She lifted it toward the camera as an automated emergency alert blared in Japanese, an earthquake warning. Already unsettling, but what followed was far worse. Shiori looked straight at her viewers and calmly said, "I've gotta go."
It's a big one. Earthquake. Oh my god, it's big. I gotta go outside.
She stepped out of frame, and then the room began to shake. The livestream kept running. For over 40 terrifying seconds, viewers watched in real time as walls trembled, objects crashed to the floor, and the sound of destruction filled the room. What began as an alert quickly became chaos. The quake would later be measured at magnitude 7.6, registering a Shindo 7, the strongest possible rating on Japan's seismic scale. Anything not bolted down was thrown violently, as if weightless. Nearly 2 minutes later, Shiori returned to the camera, shaken, breathing hard, but alive. She confirmed that she and her family were safe. Still, everyone watching knew the reality beyond that room was far worse. the earthquake devastated Japan's Noto Peninsula. In some coastal areas, the ground lifted by as much as 13 feet. A 7-story building in Wajima collapsed sideways. Entire neighborhoods burned. The death toll would eventually rise above 600. The clip went viral almost instantly, pulling in nearly 170,000 views within 24 hours. Later, Shiori revealed this wasn't her first major earthquake. She had lived through the 2004 and 2007 Chuetsu quakes, as well as the catastrophic 2011 Tohoku earthquake that claimed nearly 20,000 lives. Even with that history, this one shook her deeply. She immediately checked on her family, especially her grandparents. The 60-year-old building they lived in survived. Many others did not. Across the region, more than 193,000 structures were damaged. Mountain roads split apart, isolating entire communities. The estimated economic impact climbed to $10 billion, making it one of the costliest disasters of 2024. And one of the most chilling parts? Much of it was captured live, by accident, on a small Twitch stream that was never meant to be anything more than a quiet New Year's chat. Obdulia Sanchez was a troubled long before the tragedy that made her name infamous. By her mid-teens, she had already found herself in juvenile court and was ordered into rehabilitation. By all accounts, rehab helped, but when she turned 18, she chose to leave the program, cutting herself off from the mental health support she desperately needed. Not long after returning home, everything unraveled. The crash that followed was the result of reckless behavior fueled by substance use and a need for attention. While filming herself with no hands on the steering wheel, Obdulia's car drifted onto the shoulder. She overcorrected, sending the vehicle across lanes, through a fence, and into a field. The car rolled violently. 2 passengers in the back, both unsecured, were ejected from the vehicle. What happened next horrified viewers worldwide.
My sister, okay? I know I'm going to jail for life, alright? I understand that. This is the last thing I wanted to happen, okay? Alright? I don't care, y'all. I'm gonna hold it down. I love you. Rest in peace, sweetie.
Instead of immediately helping her sister, Jacqueline, Obdulia continued recording. The footage captured Jacqueline's lifeless, severely injured body, and Obdulia's response was chillingly detached. Her first concern wasn't her sister, it was the realization that she was going to prison. The way she framed the camera, ensuring both her face and her sister's body were visible, and her casual language as she spoke to the stream, shocked and outraged millions. Behind the blur, Jacqueline's injuries were catastrophic. At one point, Obdulia even attempted to close her sister's fatal head wound with her hand. When emergency responders arrived, Obdulia was aggressive, kicking and spitting at medics. Toxicology reports later revealed her blood alcohol content was far above the legal limit, and she tested positive for marijuana and cocaine. She was arrested and later sentenced to 6 years and 4 months for gross vehicular manslaughter while intoxicated. Miraculously, the other passenger, Manuela Ceja, survived without long-term injuries. In a display of remarkable forgiveness, she has stated she holds no hatred toward Obdulia, even though the crash claimed the life of her girlfriend. Jacqueline's death became a global spectacle because it was broadcast online. The video might have remained obscure if not for one viewer, Mary Hernandez, who screen-recorded the live stream and reposted it to Facebook, where it amassed over 700,000 views before being removed. That repost is what propelled the incident into viral infamy. Hernandez later claimed she shared the footage as a warning about reckless driving, but regardless of intent, the damage was already done. A deeply personal tragedy became a public horror show.
As someone who uses Snapchat, I see a lot of people driving with their, Snapchats and doing what she was doing. So to me, it was like an eye-opener.
If anything meaningful were to come from this story, it would have required accountability, healing, and change. Sadly, that outcome never truly materialized. What remains is a grim reminder of how unresolved trauma, substance abuse, and reckless choices, amplified by social media, can destroy lives in seconds. Twitch streamer Kelly Karen nearly turned her birthday stream into a house fire. Kelly, a mechanical engineering graduate, decided to celebrate her 26th birthday by cooking a steak live on Twitch. Simple enough, or so it seemed. But even before the stream properly began, things were already going wrong. The pan on her stove was dangerously overheated, filling her kitchen with thick, oily smoke that should have been an immediate warning sign. She pulled the steak out with tongs, trying to salvage what was left of her birthday meal. Then came the critical mistake. As she waved her hands through the smoke, she unknowingly fed oxygen straight into a pan full of hot oil, essentially priming it to ignite. And ignite it did. The oil suddenly burst into flames, sending a fireball up from the pan and throwing Kelly into instant panic. The fire alarm began screaming as flames climbed higher. Unsure what to do, she grabbed the burning pan and rushed it to the sink. Already a dangerous move, but then nearly made the worst mistake possible. She turned on the water. Water and grease fires don't mix. The result was immediate and explosive. Flames erupted even higher, forcing her to stumble backward as the fire grew more violent. It was a textbook example of what not to do in a kitchen fire. Now, completely overwhelmed, Kelly flung the pan back onto the stove, flames still raging, and froze. She didn't cover it. She didn't smother it. She just screamed for help.
Help! 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 Help!
That hesitation could have been disastrous. A spreading grease fire can quickly ignite cabinets, walls, or even neighboring apartments. Ironically, the fire began burning itself out as she panicked, something experienced cooks recognized instantly. Kelly escaped without serious damage, but the clip spread rapidly across social media as viewers watched her make nearly every fire safety mistake possible. Her father, who had been watching the live stream, immediately sent her proper safety gear: a fire blanket, fireproof gloves, and oil fire extinguishing spray.